I'm getting a thrill. Is this a good shot? Perfect.
Hey, that's pretty fucking sick.
USA.
Good enough.
Like etiquette and dignity are two separate things where you don't have to prove dignity, but showing etiquette is a virtual signal. So if you're walking to a crosswalk and someone has a horsepower vehicle engine and they're way behind you, going in a vehicle and beating them to the mark, you know, the intersection, so that you can determine if you want to speed in front of them or wait and watch them, versus going to a door and then seeing a lady heading towards the door, but then avoiding the door entrance entirely because you don't want to hold the door for her.
Before we start cherry picking chicken scratch, we've got to know that humans' only weapons on their body are like body slams and getting physical with hands. Other than that, it's not like we spray water or have dirty water, you know, mucking up when there's women who have bellies full of water. And then in the Bible it says, make rivers flow out your belly. And then there's like off the chain into the moon. Both of those connotations are not weapons, but they're adaptations that would seem like a weapon intrinsically. You know, I'm a keep to myself kind of individual. And so like when the note was, it's an insistence in keeping 6 feet away from everyone. Well, you know, I wasn't in a hurry to start looking for groups of people to start being close with. And so when there's like 2 people who just keep going like, this guy, he's on like things that he can't recover from, it's just like, I don't have anyone to get embarrassed like that I really care about for. So it's just feeling like how strong, and then versus off something that's too weak. And that's just the main core of the Newtonian physics, every action, the equal and opposite reaction. Even so with Max Planck's scale that got enhanced to Planck length with a better recap of capping how Einstein did so. And that's a great attribute if you don't understand how like a jerk reaction is, you know, a sudden twitch, or someone like hovers over someone. I've seen a guy in a nursing home as well who was so good at this. He had a real Christian ethos where he didn't use that if anyone, such as myself, you know, was annoyed with him and hovered over him. He would hold on to that and cap off the delay, you know, capitalizing off a delay. And then at the moment's notice, he would let loose the same action that had occurred to him, but it would be at his own pleasure. So he would utilize that strong hovering over to just something that he would enjoy hovering over. So that, you know, was the same thing, just utilized oppositely. And the equal reaction, well, he got to choose then how that reaction were instead of it being him. So I was wondering how a baby, stepped in a puddle. I was wondering how a baby uses the bathroom inside of a belly when it is not born yet. My question is like, how does like beard hair on the side of your lips, if you don't shave that, is it gonna grow and then not grow? Because the hair around your head like these areas, they will grow and then they'll not grow. And so maybe that's an allegory for how a stunted growth is something where the bad stuff is only because this hair is really rough and around the temples and your neck hair is really rough, coarse. Excuse me. And so it uses the hair around it to bulge up to appear that it's growing, even though it isn't. It doesn't grow past that amount, which leads me to believe the hair around the sides of the mouth won't keep growing if you don't shave it at a certain length. And here's the conundrum. It's such complexion that it's when there's more of something, it's more complex. But you just need smarter tools for doing the job correctly. At Parks and Recs, I've just noticed that they mow the lawns basically every day. And why is that? Is because when they do cut it, it's cut so that it's not close to the ground. It's not close to the ground so that they have to continuously keep cutting it in order to make it look maintained, because so often it's just the top of it that starts splitting out, like split ends. You've got all the split ends. This is it, bro. It looks wild because it grows these hay, alfalfa, actually more so just hay, like spurs, and these spurs are when it is breaching above just the point where it always gets cut. And so as a collective, it looks really unkempt. You know, like a day after it's just been cut, the 5 o'clock shadow for the guys who, you know, have to shave like twice a day because they've got hairy jeans. And so the grass, I think it accumulates an ability to learn that it has to spur out because it probably likes getting cut so often. So it starts spurring out just above the point where the Parks and Recs have their lawnmowers set to have it be cut not short. And so the more that that's done, it's just, you know, a waste of fuel, waste of paying a park and rec maintenance crew. And so the same can be said with gun control. Whereas if we had fantastic gates and fantastic barricades around schools that were so great, you know, we've got invisible fences for dogs. And so then if it was more fantastic in order to keep a watch on things, then we wouldn't have the opposite end, blaming everyone who has owned a firearm that they need to get rid of the assault rifles. And the assault rifles is because the people on voting against having assault rifles are the same people who would want to take them away in order for them to not be used on them if they're about to do something horrific, which is one reason why they wouldn't want them to be there, is the argument. And so that's not a threat at all. I don't like having knives or guns, but I understand why they want them to be banned, and I understand that like the tactics are used very much like grass. And I hope that you heard the first part, second, and third.